I'm really lucky that I never felt intimidated by being in the gym. I never felt fragile or unsure. But I know that for a lot of people, it can be really scary to get started. I was actually an academic by background. So there's about 4 degrees in there, including my PhD. Towards the end of my PhD, I started questioning whether science and being in the lab was for me. Like, I was literally taking care of muscle cells in a dish. I'm a people person. I like to work with people. I just landed on an opportunity in elite sport when I was working as a personal trainer. And I work predominantly with British diving. And that's an opportunity I just couldn't turn down because it was the Olympic Games in a couple of years. I started seeing what that whole disparity looked like between men and women. Like, only 6% of all sports science research is actually done in women, and the rest of it is basically a mixed population where they don't actually assess whether there's any differences in physiology. So I wanted to bridge that gap and create something that made people with any sort of body type feel included. Equipment that works no matter what stage of weightlifting you're starting with or who you are. I'm just extremely lucky that I have a support system who is my father to be able to understand and build that kind of equipment. That's really how Unrack came about.
So what she had done is she managed to set up a small gym at home. And that's the first exposure to me where I could see regular Olympic size barbell plates, everything else what you see. That's how the idea came to me, saying that why don't we kind of re-engineer this back for India and find out whether we can do the same thing. I used to be an electronics engineer once upon a time, way back in the 80s. My first business was with Hero Honda of introducing, technology which is contemporary, built in India for the Indian automobile industry. We were some 3-man or 4-man team way back in 86, and today we are some 2,500 people. So all this is coming together as engineering, manufactured component plus with user knowledge. And that's, I can't ask for anybody else having better user knowledge than her, because she's in that space.
I visited India and he's like, yeah, this thing is ready. You want to come in and tell me if it's better than your bar at home. First time I put my hands, even though it was a female bar, crosshatch pattern was sharp. It kind of tore my hands apart a little bit. Still, the bar was spinning very nicely, rotating very nicely. There's some amount of material properties you can see that come through. So you kind of knew it had some of these qualities that we were looking for.
See, the ideal barbell quality of steel is, stainless steel. So we invested in the steel. My group company is one of the largest heat treaters in India. We use part of the facilities of our, NatCap certified heat treating facility for heat treating our barbells as well. All these, the talent of our last 40 years of being in business in this space, we have pulled in resources from all these people working actively on this barbell development so that we can benchmark ourselves as the best in the world.
Everything needs to be tested in really adverse conditions, even putting, 800 to 1,000 kilos on a bar to see how it behaves, because we need to know what we're putting in gyms where potentially world-class athletes would be training out of, and I've got a technical advisor to help me with that from the UK as well. We then decided on how we were going to test that. What does it need to feel like? So if you're a powerlifter, it differs from a weightlifter, it differs from a crossfitter. What does that need to feel like in the hands to then achieve your lift? When I felt that bar yesterday, it has enough surface to grip. I looked at my hands right after, literally no scars.
So what we have addressed is every one of those points. No rusting because of stainless steel. The tensile strength is proved, where we are going to give a certificate for every rod which is going to be sold to any customer. The plates which we manufacture will have a certain hardness, which is a must as per Olympic standards. So we'll give a hardness certificate which can be showed to any customer. And without this, this thing of propagating sales in the market is not correct. You will not sacrifice quality for the sake of pricing.
I started weightlifting because you do not have time to rationalize with the world at that point. You either go now or that's it. It's not going to happen. But when you go then and that thing goes above your head, you feel like a mountain has lifted off your shoulders and you're invincible. I just think that everyone should be able to feel like that. You can just take the world on. You can be the strongest version of yourself. It's actually, I don't know, one of the most enjoyable things you can feel.